And I'm Emma.
And last night was the women's WNBA draft, so that was really cool. We had our very own Tiana Jackson get drafted by the Connecticut Sun. It was really cool because her watch party and draft party was at Johnny's Tavern West, which is where I work at, and I was there last night, so it was really cool to get to see that happen. And we all thought it was just kind of like a watch party for like a big team, because the KU basketball team was supposed to go. And we all just thought it was like a big party, and then it was like, oh, she's getting drafted. So that was really cool. Yeah.
That's very cool that you actually got to see them, see her get drafted. I know it was a very special moment for her. What were your thoughts on the draft overall, besides Tiana?
I thought it was really cool. My favorite part also was Kate Martin from the Iowa women's basketball team getting drafted when she was just there to support Caitlin Clark, her teammate. I know she declared for the draft, but she wasn't invited, so it was really cool that she also got drafted as well.
Yeah, it's the right place, right time kind of thing. You know, you're there to support Caitlin Clark, who was the first pick drafted in the first round, Indiana Fever, which is very cool for Caitlin, and a really big step for the WNBA as a whole. You know, to have, I heard that this is the first year that they sold tickets, and they sold out within like 10-15 minutes, which is crazy and really shows how far women's sports have come in general, especially the WNBA.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that. It's always just a fun time to watch the draft, but I think last night was really big for like women's sports.
For sure. Well, besides that, what else do you have going on?
You know, just studying for finals and summer coming up. So yeah, any big plans for summer?
No, going home to Oklahoma, hopefully getting a job, preparing myself for sophomore year, I guess, my sophomore year. But we have 2 more shows after this. So we're definitely nearing the end of our semester, and I think it's been a really great semester.
I agree, yeah. We have a lot of cool things coming up, and I think next semester will also be really fun as well.
For sure.
So yeah.
Well, we had a lot of warm weather this past weekend, and kind of into today. It's kind of cooled down a little bit. What are you thinking about that?
I heard a lot of storming last night, and then this morning when I woke up, I just heard like a bunch of wind, and then when I went outside, it wasn't like too bad. It was just kind of like, I don't
There's
know,
definitely
it's weird
some
weather
wind today.
Yeah. But I'm really happy with this weather, so I'm not going to complain.
I know. Hopefully it'll remain nice.
Yeah.
Nice spring weather. Christina actually is going to talk a lot more about that weather at the end of our show. But anything else from you?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with news and sports.
Here we see an ordinary man on an ordinary day, when suddenly, trash appears. What would you do if you were in his shoes? Would you be a bad citizen and simply ignore the trash? Or would you be a good citizen and pick the trash up? Here we see a trash can, a good citizen's greatest weapon. A good citizen will see litter, pick it up, and throw it away. Become a good citizen today.
Welcome back. I'm Caroline.
And I'm Ulicia. This is your Tuesday Good Morning KU News Update. Tensions in the Middle East are higher than ever after Iran launched a series of drone and missile attacks on Israel this past weekend. Israeli military sources reported that more than 300 cruise missiles or drones were intercepted and that very little damage had occurred. President Biden said that American forces were involved in the defensive attacks, but that the U.S. would not be involved in any retaliation.
A 40-year-old man attacked and killed 6 people with a knife in an Australian shopping mall on Saturday before being shot dead by the police. The man has been identified as an itinerant citizen who has suffered from mental health issues since he was 17. No motive has been given for the attack, which claimed the life of a young mother who passed her baby to bystanders for protection.
A second stabbing incident in Sydney earlier this morning has shocked Australia. A man dressed in a dark hoodie stabbed a bishop in the middle of a sermon that was being live streamed on the church's YouTube page. Worshippers were able to subdue the man, who has yet to be identified.
Tesla is laying off more than 10% of its workers after shares dropped 2% in the first quarter. CEO Elon Musk sent a company-wide email with the announcement that blamed the highly competitive market in a recent fire at a factory in Germany. The cuts come at a time when overall electric vehicle sales are slumping.
In national news, former President Donald Trump is awaiting a grand jury in Manhattan this week for a criminal trial. The 45th president was caught disclosing 34 counts of falsified business records to cover up hush money payments made to an adult film star during his time in office. The first trial of an American president began on Monday, as prosecutors and defense lawyers have started selecting the jury that will decide the former president's fate.
American football player O.J. Simpson died on April 11th at the age of 76 after battling prostate cancer. Simpson, a former USC and NFL player, was famously acquitted of the murders of his ex-wife and her friend in downtown Los Angeles in 1994. According to his family, Simpson passed away in hospice care.
2 Kansas women who had been missing in Oklahoma were killed over a custody dispute by an anti-government group calling themselves God's Misfits. When they went missing, the 2 women had arranged to pick up the children from their grandmother. Investigators ruled the killings had been planned by this anti-government group, with members including the grandmother and her boyfriend.
That's all for news. For sports, here's Caden.
Thanks, Caroline. The WNBA draft was last night, and with the first overall pick, the Indiana Fever selected Iowa phenom Caitlin Clark. In the second round, the Connecticut Sun selected KU senior Tiana Jackson with the 19th overall pick. The Fever and the Sun will match up against each other to start their seasons on March 14th. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is now being sued for millions of dollars in damages from a multiple vehicle crash that took place on March 30th in Dallas, Texas. On an Instagram post, Rice takes full responsibility for his actions. Head coach Andy Reid said, "We're just going to take it day by day, and here as we go," and still expects Rice to be involved in virtual team programs during the offseason. The baseball team scored 16 runs in 1 inning this weekend, outscoring Pacific 49-13 over 3 games at Hoagland Ballpark. The sweep follows a midweek thriller where the Jayhawks needed a game-ending double play with the bases loaded to knock off number 23 Nebraska. KU is now 19-14 overall, but just 7-8 in the Big 12 Conference. The game against Omaha today has been canceled, so next up for the Jayhawks is a trip to Waco, Texas this weekend to play Baylor. The softball team lost 2 out of 3 on the road at Texas Tech this weekend. Saturday's 15-12 extra inning victory featured the first home run of her career for senior center Angela Price.
And on the hands, lifted out to left field. It's got some carry, and it's gone. Angela Price has hit her first home run of the season.
Price also hit a double, scored 3 runs, and drove in another 3, along with her 10th stolen base of the season. KU is now 26-14-1 on the year and 11-7 in the Big 12. They'll visit Missouri State on Wednesday before hosting Texas next weekend at Rock Chalk Park. Starting this Thursday, Lawrence will host the 101st annual Kansas Relays at the Rock Chalk Park, welcoming hundreds of athletes from high schools and universities nationwide. The track and field event will feature a full schedule of events over the 3 days, keeping competitors and spectators engaged throughout. Tickets can be purchased online at kuathletics.com, and if the weather permits, fans will be treated to a drone show on Friday. After the break, Christina will be here with the weather, including what we can expect for this week's KU Relays.
World champions deserve a clean campus. Don't wait for other Jayhawks to pick up your mess. Keep the University of Kansas clean.
Good morning, KU. We did have a pretty rainy start to our day for today, and as that rain makes its way out of the area, we will see some pretty windy conditions for today. But luckily, our temperatures, we do have a secondary chance of rain happening towards the middle to end of the week, which will result in us having a pretty mild weekend ahead for us. Here's a look as that rain, as it made its way out of the area. And as that rain comes out, we do still have some lingering cloud coverage, but that will continue to make its way out throughout the next couple of hours as well. Here's a photo that I took of campus maybe about an hour ago, and you can see that very clear-cut line of the sunny skies that we will have for the remainder of today, and then that cloud coverage that's still trying to make its way out. Now, despite the clouds that we did see early this morning, we are still pretty warm today. We're coming in within the range of the lower 70s to upper 70s for some areas. Right now in Lawrence, we are at about 74 degrees. And that cloud coverage will continue decreasing throughout the day, so that will make way for us having even warmer conditions, but we do still have a wind advisory that's active today until 7 p.m. We have that wind coming out of the southwest at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. If you were standing outside maybe about an hour ago, you probably felt it. It's coming in pretty strong today with those wind gusts coming in at about 45 miles per hour, which definitely warrants a wind advisory for today. We do reach our high today at about 5 p.m. of 78 degrees, which is definitely really warm. And then our sun will start to set sometime between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. And that's when you will see our winds start to drop as well. At about 7, they'll be coming in near 18 miles per hour. And then by the time we get to 9 p.m., when the sun starts to set, that wind speed cuts in half and will be coming in only at about 9 miles per hour. Our wind will come out of the west for tonight at about 10 miles per hour, but we will see mostly clear skies and moderate temperatures that will drop only down into the middle 50s as our low for tonight. For our high for tomorrow, we jump all the way back up into the 70s, upper 70s at 77 degrees. So we can anticipate having really warm conditions and sunny skies as well. That wind will be coming in a bit stronger at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, but definitely not as strong as what we're having today. So if you do have any outdoor plans, I would definitely recommend taking them outside for tomorrow, as that will be definitely our nicest day of the week. We do have a low pressure system that'll make its way through Wednesday night and carry on into Thursday morning, which will bring some rain for us. And also that will result in our temperatures for this weekend being relatively cool. So again, if you have any outdoor plans, definitely take them out for today and for tomorrow as well. As for the remainder of the week, after that rain comes in, we will see our temperatures drop all the way down. We'll reach maybe into the lower 60s if we're lucky, but we can anticipate staying mostly in the upper 50s for this weekend for the days of the Kansas Relays. That is all we have for you today at Good Morning KU, and we'll see you next Tuesday at noon.